Maximum News is a political satire podcast. The views expressed by the hosts or guests do not necessarily represent the views of the network or our sponsors. Also, it's very hard to talk about people like Ted Cruz without saying lots and lots of swear words. So maybe don't listen with the small little children persons. Welcome back to Maximum News, everybody. My name is Michael Zampino.
And I'm TJ Clark.
What a week it's been. We had some bad acting at the Merrick Garland hearing where they drug him in and yelled at him about the dumbest shit in the world. Locally, House Bill 2177 passed and moved on to the Senate. We got even more admissions from Rupert Murdoch in the Fox trial. Yeah. We had local representative Nathan Dahm getting absolutely demolished by Jon Stewart, making Oklahoma look dumb in the national spotlight yet again.
Video I've seen all week.
It's really, it's a new kink seeing our idiot congressman being destroyed by smart people.
Nationally humiliated,
Yeah, by people much, much smarter than them. And then we got a couple other things, as well as a potential bill in Florida that could legalize kidnapping of trans children, even out of state. This bill would basically say that if basically a parent could kidnap a trans child and take them to Florida and be protected under Florida law, because they're, quote, protecting the child. They could also do it if the child's parent is undergoing gender-affirming care. They could kidnap the child from that parent. So, Florida's really, really one up in their game on being just fucking monsters, which leads us to the question of how will Kevin Stitt try and one-up them, which is an inevitability.
Copycat Kevin.
Yeah, so what should we start with? Should we start with Trump at CPAC?
So many heavy things.
Yeah, let's start with Trump at CPAC because that'll probably be the one with the most levity.
There's a lot of This is the most frightening thing I've heard in a while.
Yeah, so Trump at CPAC had people running for the hills because they knew that this was going to be CPAC just keeps getting closer and closer and closer to an outright Klan rally every time. Like one step away, basically.
Nikki Hadley still showed up, and
I'm
big up to her for
that was ballsy.
It really was, because it's like Trump mania there. That's all
it is just nothing.
Like,
but
DeSantis was like, I'm not even going to that.
Oh fuck no, yeah. Another thing I found out is, so when you started calling him Meatball Ron, I immediately thought it was like a fat joke, but somebody said, and I didn't even think about this, that it might be Trump trying to play on anti-Italian shit. DeSantis, Meatball Ron, you can't trust an Italian. And I was like, how did I not see that with my last name ending in O?
Everything's racist.
Even
against other white people.
It's like, you greasy olive oil motherfucker. Like, Jesus, man, I didn't know we did that anymore. So let's get in. We have a clip of some of the stuff that Trump said at CPAC, and we're gonna see how much we can get through. And boy, oh boy, here we go.
All right, here we go.
Choice. If we don't do this, our country will be lost forever. People are tired of rhinos and globalists. They want to see
rhinos and globalists.
America first. That's what they want. It's not too complicated.
It's not too complicated.
This is the final battle.
The final battle.
They know it. I know it.
Armageddon,
you know it.
baby.
Everybody knows it. This is it.
This is prepared material. He's reading this.
Oh, yeah.
Or we win. And if they win, we no longer have a country. And I promise you this.
He's
reading
this.
In the White House, that beautiful building, but I live in very beautiful buildings. It's not that recent.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Beautiful. That building wasn't the easiest building to live in with what I was put through. And, I get a lot of credit. A lot of people say,
This
How do you do
motherfucker.
it, sir? I had a
Yeah.
man come up to me the other day, one of the toughest, strongest people that you can imagine.
Here we come,
You all
tears
know
in
he's
his
a
eyes.
Big businessman, a lot of money, a lot of success, tough as hell. And he said, "Could I ask you a question, President?" What? Friend of mine, he used to call me Donald, now he calls me President. "Could I ask you a question, President?" What? "How do you do it? How do you do it?" Every day
This
they
didn't
send
fucking
you
happen.
subpoenas.
No.
There's
Every day
zero
they're
chance
after you.
this
They're
story
looking to
happened.
take you down at levels that nobody's ever put up with before.
Jesus.
7 years I've gone through this. We beat them all.
This
But
this
it continues. And he
this
said to me, seriously,
tangent all came
how do
from
you do it?
the building
I
of
could
the
never
White
do it.
House.
This is one of the toughest guys. I said, maybe you could. He said, nope, I couldn't do it. I couldn't get out of bed in the morning. But I
Meet the
do it for
Press
you, and
this
that's what
morning
I'm
was a
doing
lot
it for. I
about
do it
how
for you.
Blowing smoke up his own
Yeah,
ass.
well, and he's playing himself as an outsider, and they're like, "You were the president.
You were the president
You
for
are
4
not
years.
an outsider."
Yeah. You're an outsider in that you're clinically insane. We love Trump.
And you know it. Thank you very much. And if you put me back in the White House, their reign is over. Their reign will be over. And they know it. And America will be a free nation once again. We're not a free nation right now. We don't have free press. We don't have free anything.
What?
We don't have free press.
In
Who said that they were
2016,
the
I
enemy of the
declare,
people, you dumb fuck?
I am your voice. Today I add, I am your warrior.
Oh, here it is.
I am your justice. And for those who have been wronged and betrayed, I am your retribution. I am your retribution. Not gonna.
I mean,
Now-
that's fucking terrifying.
Yeah. Also, you know that was written for someone that could read it with the gravitas of a Mussolini.
Yeah.
Like the lines that
absolutely.
I am your warrior, I am your retribution. No,
Yeah.
I am your warrior, I am your retribution. I'm your retribution. Doesn't quite hit the same, does it?
No.
And this is the guy that they're hanging their hat on. This
Still, yeah.
This guy who has to blow smoke up his own ass with fake stories of people that are like, I'm the strongest
you do
guy
it?
you know, and I couldn't do it. You're so much stronger than
Yeah.
me, Mr. President. Oh, I can't call you
No,
Donald anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, I call you daddy now. Yeah.
Country daddy. Fucking idiot.
Do we want to listen to more? Or
No,
okay,
that's
yeah,
plenty.
yeah. I think
that
it
was
peaks there. I am your retribution. That's
now.
enough.
Just from what I know about malignant narcissism and personality disorder, that type of the way he couldn't help but go on that tangent
Oh, he had to.
is the behavior of malignant narcissists.
Yeah.
Like that these are like things you can point to and say like, oh, look at that. That's another thing that shows me that this man has a clinical disorder, like an actual diagnosable disorder.
Yeah.
It's not like we're using hyperbole. Like the man has a disorder. It is called malignant narcissism, narcissistic
all he wants to
personality
talk
disorder.
about is himself. Like literally, that's it.
Nothing else. Nothing else about, and it's all about how persecuted he is,
Yeah.
or it's either how persecuted he is or how great he is at everything.
So strong.
So weak, though. You know that motherfucker is so weak. I'm like, let's
looks
arm
frail.
wrestle Don.
Even his colors look more like toned down.
Oh yeah, he's not quite as orange
Yeah. Lacks vibrancy.
because he's hiding out. Because he knows he's about to get indicted.
Yeah.
Boy, oh boy, I can't wait for that. We could see it
It's
as
gonna be
early
a
as
weird
spring.
couple
They
years.
said.
Yeah. So we could have a.
So we could be
Someone
in
said, like,
civil war
we
by
could have
summer.
a presidential candidate who's out on bail. Which is just
Who's got to
hilarious.
run his campaign with an ankle bracelet on?
Yeah.
Sorry, everybody's got to come to the campaign rallies to me because I can't leave the state.
Oh man, it'll be so great.
Oh God. Do you think? I mean, I think it's inevitable that there will be some level of violence if Donald Trump is indicted. Do you agree?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I think so.
And the question is just at what level? Is it going to be isolated incidents or is it going to be an attempted uprising?
I mean, it's going to be weak either way. I think. I don't know.
The thing that scares me the most, though, is just how many guns these people have.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, these are the ones hoarding munitions for the end of days.
That's what they want, too.
It really is.
They want it.
Why do you want bloodshed so badly? Yeah. Just because of what? Things that make you uncomfortable? Like, really, at the end of the day, what is it that's got you so... like
scared?
They just have you convinced that the idea of people being treated equally will literally destroy the country.
Yeah.
They use those words. They're destroying the country. How so? By trying to provide affordable housing?
Exactly.
By trying to provide health care to all? By trying to make people educated? What? How? Point to what is literally the thing that's destroying, and in what way is it destroying? That's the other thing. They can never point to the hurt. They always want to talk about this potential hurt, especially with these trans bills, how it's quote hurting these kids.
Yeah.
But if you really sit them down and say, in what way is it hurting those kids specifically?
Yeah.
They can't point to anything other than
that
it's different. I have to explain it.
Yeah. That was my favorite part of the Jon Stewart when he brought up the drag stuff, and it was like just, and I mean, it's the great argument. It's the one that we've all been thinking too. It's like you have kids murdering kids. You've got guns, the leading cause of death for children, and you're worried about drag queens.
Yeah, and this is the fight you've chosen.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you didn't see this most recent Jon Stewart interview, he interviewed Oklahoma State Rep Nathan Dahm, mostly about gun laws, but they dipped into a couple other topics.
Mostly to bring it back to gun. Like he brought up, I loved it. He brought those topics to be like, okay, so
and why is it not the same
you
case
believe in
with
parental choice for this stuff and protecting the kids or whatever? But it was great. It was so smart.
Such a and I don't know. I'm. It's one of those things where I'm very glad that Nathan Dahm did that interview, because so many of them are terrified of being interviewed by somebody who's going to ask, you know what I mean? They only go to Fox News and Newsmax and the places that aren't going to ask tough questions.
Yeah.
So it's both shocking when one of them will do it, because it's like, well, you had to know these questions were coming if you're going to be interviewed by Jon Stewart.
Totally. But I'm so surprised he agreed to it.
I'm surprised, but I'm grateful, because this is the type of exposure that these types of plans and people need, is the world seeing them squirm when someone with a little bit more intelligence asks them a tough question. Yeah. And this isn't a fucking politician. This is Jon Stewart. This is the guy who was talking about weed on the back of a $20 bill and Half Baked. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, this isn't some poli-sci I don't know, whatever the fuck. But
like, I think why he probably agreed to it, because it's true. I don't think like the base Oklahoma Republicans they don't give, like, you know what I mean? Like, they don't watch that interview and come out with the same conclusion that we do.
I mean, he's going to put he's going to put out a differently edited version of it.
Oh, yeah.
Where it's like Nathan Dahm owns Jon Stewart.
But like, you know what I mean? Like, they don't care.
Part of me thinks that a lot of that type of person, like a Nathan Dahm specifically, thinks he could win that argument.
Oh, totally.
Like, he goes in there thinking like, no.
Yeah.
I'm going to convince Jon Stewart that the answer is more guns. That more guns make people more safe.
Yeah.
Even though there's statistical tangible evidence pointing to the other direction.
I am curious just because of the timing of it. I would love, because I feel like Jon Stewart brought a lot of like conservative favor to him with the stuff he did with the vets, even though like our own governor is like fighting with vets now.
Well, I
like,
was going to say,
it seems so strange, like the relationship with the vets. But
if you could call it that, he curried favor with the old guard of the Republicans that were Republicans on fiscal policy and not culture war.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Those are the ones that were like, that was the right thing to do.
Yeah.
And it's the culture war motherfuckers, the Marjorie Taylor Greens, that are like, well, we didn't do it, so this is bad.
Yeah.
You know? Support the troops, except when they're done, fuck them.
Yeah.
That's the Republican way.
Absolutely. I would like to know, like, I would like to hear what people think after watching that, especially Oklahomans. And if anything, it's great for people outside Oklahoma to see exactly what we deal with here.
Yeah, what the few of us are dealing with
and
here.
Of course, all over the country, there's states dealing with the same thing. Maybe it's because we live here, I feel like ours are just a special breed. Maybe it's because we're so
Well, I mean,
grossly.
it's because we're
leaning
always
red.
we're always in the top 5 of the worst of the you know what I mean,
Yeah.
of the states that are bringing up the worst bills. It's always us and Florida and Mississippi and Arkansas. You know, we're always the ones that are like, I can be more hateful. You know,
Yeah, it's like a roast battle. Like they're trying to just continue to be meaner than they were the last time.
and it's one of those things where and the first thing you'll hear is, if you don't like it, there's the door. There's the door. Why do I have to fucking leave?
Yeah,
you know what I
exactly.
mean? Like, you're not the majority anymore. Like, you might be in this state, but in the grand scheme of the world, you're the minority now, my friend. You and your 10-gallon hat. There's not as many of you as you think.
I think they see it too. I think that's why it's getting scarier and more violent.
That's why they're more willing to. That's why they're coming around to the idea of dismantling democracy, because they know they can't win fair and square anyway. So the only answer is authoritarianism.
Yeah.
What do you do when you can't win elections anymore? You fucking rig it, and you go, hey, they're rigging the election. They're rigging the election.
Yeah.
We can't have elections anymore, right? They're just not fair.
Him bringing up the press. We can't even have a free press anymore.
That was like that. The irony on that was super thick. You literally basically sicked people on the press.
Totally. You made him like enemy number 1.
Yeah, you said the words. They're the enemy of the people. The enemy of the people.
Yeah, and you're like, oh, but what about the free press? They literally
His version of a quote free press is RTV, like Russian state television. That's the quote free press that Donald Trump wants.
Man, God.
Yeah.
I just whenever I get frustrated, I'd like to go to a happy place and just picture Jon Stewart interviewing Dahm. I like to picture Jon Stewart making Dahm his sub. That's what I like to picture.
Yeah, me too.
Like collar
At
Dahm.
gunpoint.
At gunpoint.
At gunpoint. But it's a hot pink gun, because it would really make Nathan Dahm mad.
Totally.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because anything that would be viewed as quote emasculating is like that guy's nightmare. He's like, I don't want to be seen as anything less than manly.
I wonder how I'd feel about trans people with guns.
That's a solid question. Should trans
Trans
people
people
have
protecting themselves with
should
guns?
trans people have all the guns too?
Yeah.
No, because they're not people to him.
Exactly.
Only people get guns.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Only people that don't need conversion therapy.
You mentioned us hitting all the worst stuff.
Yeah.
You want to talk about one of the new things that
Yeah.
just came down that
Yep.
we're worst in?
Might as well.
This was published on February 27th. I just saw it yesterday, and it is done by Wallet Hub, which I've heard of. I'm not. I don't know. These things come out by different sources, but this one has a lot of good
Sources.
metrics.
Yeah. It actually has. Yeah, I was going to say it has a breakdown of metrics.
Yeah. So the punchline is Oklahoma is now, by their metrics, the worst state for women.
Yep.
So they broke it down mostly for like money reasons, right? So here's kind of the intro. It says women represent more than 2/3 of all minimum wage workers in the U.S. Their political representation also suffers, as women make up nearly 51% of the U.S. population, but only 24% of the Senate, 28% of the House. So in order to determine how women are faring and where they can find the best opportunities relative to where they live, Wallet Hub compared the 50 states and District of Columbia across 25 key indicators of living standards for women. Our data set ranges from median earnings to for female workers to women's preventative health care to the female homicide rate. And it broke down to where, let me click my own link here. Oklahoma was dead last overall. So in the overall rankings, Oklahoma all the way at the bottom, baby.
Just
51
under
out of
Mississippi.
50. Yeah, and then they break it down individually. So there's like women's economic, social, and well-being, and we are also 51 in that. But fear not, for women's health care and safety, we're 50.
Hey.
Arkansas being
Next to last, baby.
So Arkansas is, I guess, dangerous for.
We got to step up our game
for women's health care and safety. Yeah, but we're still dead last. Not top 10.
I mean,
Yeah,
the amount of things that we are bottom 5 in is just mind-boggling. And this one, while it still stings, is unfortunately not that surprising based on my experience of, just observing how women are treated in the workforce in Oklahoma.
Oh yeah. It probably comes as no surprise.
It's a goddamn nightmare.
Because we're behind. I mean, I feel like nationally a lot of this stuff's getting better, but Oklahoma's always behind. But here's some of the stuff they measured on, just so you know.
Because we still live in a state where a good chunk of men think that women should be barefoot pregnant and in the kitchen.
Yeah,
like that is some 1950s nonsense bullshit. And that's the America that they're striving for.
Yeah. So they measured median earnings for female workers, the unemployment rate for women, job security for women, share of women living in poverty, unaffordability of doctor's visits for women. So, like, Oklahoma
share
scores
of women-owned
like
businesses,
low and all this,
high school graduation
economic
rate,
clout, friendliness towards working moms, friendliness towards women's equality.
Yeah, know we're dead last in that shit.
Yeah, so all those we struggle in. And,
God damn it!
And then it just goes on. I mean, it's just like, and no one's surprised. I think I know a lot of women who feel more terrified to live here than before.
Of course, it's getting harder and harder not to think that the only option is to cut tail and run.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel safe in this state.
Yeah.
For anybody that's not white, Republican, and
yeah. And they use all these arguments about protecting the children and like making it safe for the children.
The key word is when they say protect the children, it means to be an asterisk and say their children. Protect their children, because they don't give a fuck about your kids or my kids,
and they're doing a pretty shitty job of protecting their own children.
Honestly, yeah, they're doing a terrible job of protecting their own children, but they think they are. That's the thing. Is the idea in their head is they're protecting their children. They use the ruse of like we're protecting all children, when in reality you're only doing it to save yours. But like you said, what you're actually doing is probably causing your kid a lot of lifelong trauma.
Oh yeah, one of my favorite things when talking to my kids is hearing about other kids and just like behaviors of kids in class, because my kids go to a school that's in a more like conservative part of town, but surprisingly the kids are still very progressive thinking, so like their parents haven't got to a lot of them yet, and of course that's what they're so mad about, and they think they're getting indoctrinated at school by teachers, but it's their peers.
Yep.
And my daughter told me this story. They I forget which class it was in. I think it was a government class, and they were talking about a scientist who won like a prize, a Pulitzer Prize or something, and then later said some racist things, and they like took his award away. And the class had a discussion about was it good to take his award away or not?
Right.
And everyone agreed that it was fine because he said really horrible things.
Yeah.
But there was one guy that was like, I don't think he should keep the award, and like he sits at a table with his best friend. And his best friend was like, what the fuck, dude? like my daughter's like, she watched a friendship like break apart right there over because this dude was like willing to like let go of these like racist things this guy said. So it's interesting. Like, I think the kids are fine.
Well, like, and I look back and you said it right. Like the parents haven't gotten to him yet. And I look back thinking of even when I was in high school in the late 90s, it obviously was nowhere near as progressive as our children's generation is. Yeah. But I remember specific people in high school that I would look at their like Facebook and their right-wing crazy views and think back to specific conversations we had in high school. Totally. and how completely liberal their mindset was, and how, all these different things. And it's like, where did that go wrong? And it's 9 times out of 10, it comes back to the parents. Yeah. Or they just, they slip into a friend group because of a feeling of non-acceptance or whatever. And,
and then as people get older, they collect trauma, and then they blame it often on marginalized people
because they're scared of therapy.
And they've got their politicians are telling them to blame it on that.
They're absolutely saying this is why you feel this way. Yeah. This is why you struggle. This is why you can't get out of poverty.
It's other poor people. That's the reason why you're poor.
The dumbest fucking argument. I never will understand the being able to rationalize. Oh it's the other poor people that are that are keeping me poor. It's definitely not all this legislation funneling all of the money upward.
Yeah.
God, trickle-down economics really was the exact opposite of what they said it was.
Yeah.
Literally just stayed at the top.
Like, everyone knows it, and it just happens.
Yep. And now it's just accepted as the American way.
Yeah.
That's just how it rolls.
Oh.
Threw up in my mouth a little. Did you see Dum Dum? I mean, all of them, but like Matt Gaetz and all of them fucking yelling at Merrick Garland this week.
No, I didn't.
It was so goddamn theatrical. It was essentially them saying that because they're charging all these Jan 6 rioters, they're like, why didn't you charge all of the people that were protesting out of the Supreme Court justices' houses after the Roe decision? And he's like, because they didn't break any laws. They were peacefully protesting.
Yeah.
You know, is there an argument to be made of whether or not they should have been there? Yeah, but did they break the law? No. Did they go in their home and destroy it and put their feet up on the desk and chant hang
Nope.
Fucking Amy Coney Barrett?
I mean, some might have said that.
Yeah, we didn't chant it. We thought it.
Yeah.
Kidding, of
but
course.
There's a huge difference. Yeah.
There's absolutely a big difference. And it was basically that, trying to make false equivalences of why didn't you charge these people who didn't commit crimes when you charged these people who did commit crimes?
Yeah.
And Merrick Garland's basically like, you answered your own fucking question, you idiot. And it was just that on repeat and just tons of Hunter Biden.
And there's been a lot of talk of like wanting to dissolve the FBI and stuff like that.
Of course, yeah. But don't defund the police.
Yeah. But
Unless it's the FBI and the Capitol Police.
Yeah. The ones who are investigating the politicians.
Yeah, but the ones who are murdering unarmed black men, just
Yeah.
keep giving them tanks.
Yeah.
Keep giving them fucking armament of military level. Yeah, so that was it's just pure theatrics. Every House committee that has started in this new Congress,
Yeah.
under the Republicans, has been nothing but theatrics. It's just nothing but grievance politics. Nobody's bringing forth any bills other than hate bills. Every bill is anti something. There's not one bill you can point to brought forth by Republicans that is for something.
Helpful, yeah.
Unless that thing that you're saying it's for is bigotry. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And it's always things that aren't an issue or problem.
No, it's made up problems so that you won't notice them funneling all of the money up. Literally, it's all just,
Yeah.
I mean, fuck. They constantly talk about,
in Oklahoma,
they're trying to make you not pay attention, so they're doing this. And it's like, no, they're trying to make you not pay attention because they're taking all the money.
Yeah. Because we're all talking about these bills, the drag bill and the trans bill, but we're not talking about all the like
tax
corruption
cuts,
and all the like
deregulation.
Still, like, what happened with all the like barbecue restaurant? You know what I mean? Like
Swadley's.
Stitt has so many controversies and so many conflicts with the tribes and all kinds of stuff. He keeps like failure after failure.
Obsessed with McGirt.
And there's like fights with McGirt with the veterans groups and all this stuff. But like all anyone wants to talk about is the social stuff.
Yeah, because and you're exactly right. It's a rope-a-dope. It's like, it's look at this hand while I punch you with this one.
Oh yeah, and also they're destroying public education.
Right, because there's and I actually said this on someone's Facebook the other day, was that they said public schools are failing because of this liberal woke agenda, blah blah blah. And I said, no, public schools are failing because of a decades long agenda by the Republicans to dismantle public education so that only the elite have access. Because you have to keep people pretty stupid if you're gonna keep them voting against their own best interests.
Yeah.
And I've said it a million times and I will never stop repeating it. You have to be pretty fucking dumb if you're going to continually vote against your own best interests and keep yourself in the shithole that you're living in by your own fucking voting choices.
And they're trying to get money out of public schools and literally handing it to religious schools.
Right, exactly. Because that's where their kids go.
Yeah.
That's what
when they know their message is going to be different than the one they
100%,
think
because because they can pay to have that message formed to whatever they want because it's
You're
private.
not going to find any trans-friendly books in the library.
Fuck no, you won't.
Yeah.
We won't even mention them existing because it's not real. It'll be in the mythology section. Fucking pieces of shit. God damn it.
Yeah.
What else did we have? Yeah, I mean, if we just want to keep on all the hatred, HB 2177.
Oh, yeah.
Moving on to the Senate, this is the House bill, and shout out to my wife Becky, who had a tremendous called shot that hasn't happened yet, but we got to give her credit for when it does happen because she fucking calls it. This wording, the biggest difference between the House bill and the Senate bill and these two bills that are basically identical, the biggest difference is the House bill's wording would make it technically illegal for gender affirming surgeries and care for adults as well as children. Now, Becky said that's one that they put in there with purely the motivation of when it comes to this next section, they're going to pull that out and go, see, look how reasonable we are.
Yeah.
Look how reasonable we are. We took that part out about adults.
Yeah.
So we're only saving the children. And that's going to sway the moderates.
Yeah.
That's so
like, oh,
this is 100% in there so that they could pull it on purpose for the appearances of being. So Becky called that. When it happens, we're going to have to give her a high five for that called shot because there's no fucking way that's not the case. I think that's absolutely right.
Yeah, and it's also just, I feel like it's just to terrorize people too.
It absolutely is.
Yeah,
feel
it's unsafe, uncomfortable.
You're motivated by fear to vote.
They probably just want them. They're like, just move. They want them to move. You know,
so that this can be a safe haven for hateful cowboys.
Yeah.
They're like, God, you won't let Morgan Wallen say the N word. Wasn't that the country artist that got in trouble for like 5 seconds, and then everybody was like, he's a country
and
artist.
He was like number one again.
Yeah, because they're like, he's a country artist. We love that.
There was I was at a comedy show last night, and a comic was playing the guitar, and he started talking about Morgan, and I was like, where is this going? I was so scared.
Yeah,
because he was talking about how he can say the N word and get top record sales. So like, I felt like he maybe had a point, but it was when it's just it
sounded like he was saying, "Why can't I?"
Yeah, it was like, it was dancing around that, and I was just like,
"That's a tightrope."
You've been in that comedy show before. You're like, "Please back up, please back up." Like,
oh God, the feeling of being in a comedy show and feeling like you're about to hear the N word, is one of the most uncomfortable things. I don't know if it's more or less uncomfortable being another comic or just a regular audience member.
Yeah,
I think maybe
I get like secondhand.
I feel like as a comic, it's worse for us because we see it coming before the audience. Usually, we can sense where they're going.
Yeah,
and knowing what comedy's supposed to be. Yeah, like you said, that fucking sense of like inner embarrassment on their behalf of like, oh no, honey, don't do this to yourself.
Yeah, or if I'm on the show, I'm like, what the?
Oh
like,
yeah, you
I gotta
go
after you.
That's when anytime that happens, I'm like, well, my prepared material is fucking gone. I'm just going to talk about this guy.
Yeah.
Like when I followed a guy named Hard Hat. He didn't do anything racist, but he was just so insane that I couldn't not talk about only him.
Hard Hat?
Yeah, he went by Hard Hat. He wore a hard hat on stage, and then he fucked a hard hat on stage. He didn't pull his dick out, but he did put it on the floor and hump it real hard.
Well, I mean, at least it wasn't a stool. He like brought his own thing to hump.
I guess. But then he tried to put it on my head.
Oh.
Yeah, but
Hard Hat. No.
I actually had like a very impressive Matrix style move out of the way where it didn't touch my perfectly coiffed hair. And I remember I was in Oklahoma City and I came off stage and Larry, he was like, hey, that was pretty impressive how you moved out. And I was like, thank you, Larry. He's like, I didn't know you could move that fast.
Oh, man. As soon as you said that was in Oklahoma City, I was like, oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Hard Hat sounds completely
yeah, that's an Oklahoma City open mic.
I can say this because I grew up in Oklahoma City, okay? I can talk trash about it. It's fine.
I can, yeah.
Southside, baby. I'm from the Southside.
Southside?
Yeah, which is different than Southside Tulsa. Southside Tulsa, it's like the opposite Southside Oklahoma City.
Okay.
If you know that.
So Southside Oklahoma City is like Northside Tulsa.
More like West Tulsa. Probably.
Fair.
Yeah.
Okay. A little methy.
Yeah. A little more just like rugged working class, good old people.
Yeah. Northwest, that's the burbs, right?
Northwest.
Okay.
Yeah. That's like kind of
the burbs.
Yeah.
That's where the bin was.
Generally, yeah.
Yeah. All right, what do we got here?
Oh yeah, you mentioned briefly police and their high tech toys, and I saw something today, recently about flock cameras. This is something that we have in Tulsa, and it's something the ACLU is now speaking about because it's spreading quickly all over the country.
And these are the license plate reading cameras?
Yeah,
Or
they're a little bit more specific.
They don't read the license plate; they just take pictures. Is it correct?
Yeah. Well, I'll read you a little intro here,
Okay.
just so we can have a basis. This is from the ACLU, of course, which is an activist group, but this is very evenly read, and they even talk about the cameras could do good things. Anyway, let me just read it.
Yeah.
While license plate readers have been around for some time, Flock is the first to create a nationwide surveillance system out of its customers. So it's not just the taking of the pictures, it's the information that they share, and the all the kind of a network of information and how long they're retaining the information that the ACLU is worried about. So working with police departments, neighborhood watches, and other private customers, Flock not only allows private camera owners to create their own hot list that will generate alarms when listed plates are spotted, but also runs all plate against state police watch list and the FBI's primary criminal database. Flock's goal is to expand in every city in the United States. Its cameras are already in use in over 2,000 cities in 42 states.
I mean, the first red flag for me is allowing private owners to create their own hot lists.
Private, yeah.
Which means that our police department's hot list could be just all the unarmed black men in town.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, that's the slope you're looking at, and I thought of several of the things that, like, Becky and I always talk about how, sort of in the along the same lines of this mentality.
If you're innocent, why are you taking the Fifth Amendment?
It's sort of like, if you're innocent, why are you afraid of cameras? That is a thing that we talk about a lot, and it's
Totally.
like, well, what reason would we have for not wanting there to be a camera? What would we be afraid of? And that's not the issue. The issue isn't how can it be used, or what would you potentially be scared of being seen by the camera, but it's more about how can those cameras be misused if they're used with an agenda.
Absolutely.
And that's where it gets tricky.
Yeah. It's like, we got to look at the language of a lot of this.
If you were somehow able to have a system like this and have it not run by human bias,
and there are some, and
there's potential for good.
Yeah, and that's what they talk about. Like, some cities do that. Some cities limit who they share the information with. They limit how long they hold on to the data, and that's fine, right?
And who's creating the hot list?
That
seems key.
Yeah, totally. And so let me read just a tiny bit more, because this does kind of tell you the difference between the license plate reader and what the true problem is. So, unlike targeted system designated to take pictures of license plate, check the plates against a hot list, and then flush the data if there's no hit, Flock is building a giant camera network that records people's comings and goings across the nation, and then makes that data available by search by any of its law enforcement customers. Small town sheriffs can access sweeping, like small towns. Like, there's no hiding out in your small town anymore if you're a fugitive. Well,
this is the exact type of thing that could be implemented terribly with laws like the Florida kidnapping law.
Yeah. Or to see if you're going across state,
right? Or
to get an abortion,
track people crossing state lines for abortion.
Which some might say that's
access.
like paranoid thought, but that when it's written so open like this, you have to think
that's the purpose. That's the other thing that bothers me too. Is I think that there's not necessarily among the people that are being duped by the conspiracy theories, but I think maybe some of the conspiracy theories' origins are coming from people trying to muddy the waters so that things like this sound more crazy.
Totally.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you're like, okay, so we got to do all this stuff about like putting microchips in vaccines, which is literally impossible because it's a liquid. There's no microscopic liquid microchips. I'm sorry, that technology doesn't exist. You put those things in the air so that when people say, oh, they're going to use this to surveil people crossing state lines for abortion access, they can go, that's crazy. And you're like, is it that crazy though?
Yeah.
Is it out of the wheelhouse of those people to do that?
Here there was so let me also say, I tried to do some research to find out if Tulsa holds on to the data, how long they hold on for it, and I wasn't able to find out exactly, but I'm going to continue to do research on this because
it's very
kind of fascinates me. But I do know
interesting.
That it is very, quote, successful. Like, the police are loving it. Like, they just in 2022 made
which is
so
another
much
red
more,
flag.
exactly, so much more arrests. So they are hyped about it. We're getting more cameras this year. So like the more excited they get, and they're putting it out. Of course, they pump it out to the public, right? Like watch the news. They're always talking about, oh yeah, we made this arrest because of flock, So people hear it's like a good thing. But then there's these other people who are like constantly worried about their privacy and your actual like freedoms and liberties, and there's good things that come out of it. We can find children, easily missing children, like Amber Alert, actual children need to be found.
Yeah,
like
I feel like the same people. that would come into the dispensary and I would ask them for their driver's license and they would scream at me about I'm not letting you put my information in your system.
Yeah.
And I'd go, well, then you can't buy weed.
Yeah.
Those are the same people who are like, my privacy. But when the cops are like, flock rules, they're like, yeah, it does.
Catch them criminals.
It's like, Jesus Christ. Oh, I ain't letting you put that liquid microchip in my body, but I'll carry that phone around. Like, you're already carrying the tracking system in your pocket, you dummy.
It just, I lost my thought.
No, it's okay. We're basically talking about what, we're going to look further into how Tulsa is implementing this and in what ways, and if we can find that out. Bringing that to you guys. But it's also worth looking into in your own state. If you're not in Oklahoma, wherever you at, look into how flock is being implemented, if at all, and how it's being sort of sold to you, like you said, through the news.
Absolutely. And like there was someone there was a Reddit post from many months ago. Someone went to a city council meeting where they had police officers there talking about flock, and they kind of like, that's where I got some information about what is exactly happening in Tulsa. And the thing I thought was interesting, again, you have to like look at the language sometimes, because they say the cameras don't use facial recognition, but they also don't redact it. So like they will have a picture of your face. So like if they want to know who's driving a car, they're not like using flock to do facial recognition, but they do have a screen grab, and they can take your face
reference
and
back
use
to
other resources they have to find. So it's like, and if you're doing something bad, you're like, oh yeah, this is great. But if you're talking about tracking down trans people or people trying to get abortion, or this technology, I don't know, you just have to feel like it could be used so bad.
It always comes down to who's using it and why.
Yeah. And I just feel like I just want Tulsans and Oklahomans and everyone to be aware that it's out there and to ask tons of questions. And
yes,
because I feel, because I know I work in news and I know a lot of journalists, and I want my journalist friends to go and ask tons of questions, because I couldn't find it enough. Like I was reading it, I know we have it, I know we use it, and they're like stoked about something else. They're getting a real-time information center is what they call it, and I believe that also has some kind of like surveillance stuff going on.
Yikes! Oh yeah. Did you watch John Oliver this past week about AI?
No.
It was kind of it kind of dipped into facial recognition software and some of that stuff, and how one of the big things is one of the things I took away from it was that he said something along the lines of, it's not that it's too smart, it's that it's stupid in ways we can't predict.
Absolutely.
And like the mistakes that it's being made because of the data that it's being fed or the data that it's pulling from.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite things that came from it was the term pale male data. Have you heard that phrase?
No.
So essentially, it means that if you are running some sort of a facial recognition software and it's being the information being pumped in is being pumped in by white men and is mostly white men or white people, then that facial recognition software is not going to be as effective at non-white skin.
Totally.
An example they used was an AI software thing that was being used to help or to try and help track skin cancers. Was it ended up basically showing that it would basically say that any picture with a ruler in it was malignant because of how they used the ruler in the picture next to everything. Yeah. And so it just started to associate that with malignancy. And so any picture with a ruler in it, it'd be like, that's malignant cancer. And it's like, that's where it's bad and that's where it's fucked up. But I love the term pale male data.
It's real dumb.
Exactly. Or the other example was a self-driving car that plowed over a human being because because the human being jaywalked and its information didn't take people walking the street not on the crosswalk into account.
Yeah.
So its programming only recognizes people crossing in crosswalks, and if you're jaywalking, you gonna die.
Here's another example.
That's scary.
That is scary. That's very scary. Yeah, this isn't as scary as death,
Yeah.
but related to automation and
Yeah.
cars and things that we're doing. I just read this week, and I don't have it in front of me, but I remember it vividly because it was like, what the fuck? Ford applied for a patent for technology service. I don't know. They want to use self-driving cars and the technology in cars so cars can repossess themselves if you don't make payment. And not only that, but before it repossesses itself, and if you missed a payment or you're late on payments, they can control your car and make it uncomfortable to drive. They'll turn the air conditioner on when it's cold outside. They'll turn the heat on. They'll turn the radio up really loud.
Absolutely
They'll make
not.
the radio not work. They'll like turn off functions, and it won't just be like, oh, it turns the radio off forever. It'll like, oh, you'll have radio one day and you won't the next day. They make it like as chaotic and uncomfortable as possible until you pay your bill. And they're not actively doing this. Is just a patent, but this is like where capitalism is headed with technology, right? Because like the whole thing is, if your car isn't automated, they can use the cameras and the GPS to just like take pictures of stuff, and then they'll send the repossessors there.
Yeah.
If your car's like semi-automated, the car will drive itself to a different location, and like then the repossessors will come. Or if your car is fully like automated, the car will drive itself to the repossessors lot. And if you somehow like lock it up or put it in your garage or something, it just calls the police. It calls the police. Your car will call the police on you.
Your car's a fucking narc.
Yeah. And that's something the Ford's like, oh yeah, we want to patent on this shit. This is a great idea.
I was ready in the future to get Kit from Knight Rider, and I got a fucking
Kit's a
narc. Kit was a narc, though, I guess. They were cops, right?
Totally. Oh, yeah. We should have saw it coming, man.
I know, we didn't think, we just thought it was cool.
Yeah.
We were kids. We didn't know cops weren't cool.
Yeah, exactly.
They made them look cool on
Media
TV.
lied to us.
They sure did. They keep doing it too. The way you said that the way that the news sort of inadvertently sells things on behalf of the police.
Oh, dude, I could write essays, and I should about local news's relationship with the police. It is thick and
problematic.
We're a lot of times local news, and I say us, but it's literally everywhere, of course.
Yeah, it's across the country.
They're just PR for police a lot of times.
100%. I've been saying that for years. It drives me nuts. Every time
crime news is PR for police,
and every time there's somebody will be like, "Oh yeah, they said the shooting was this and this and this," and I said, "Who said?" "Oh, the news said." But who on the news said? Were they reading from the police statement?
Exactly.
Yeah, it was from the police statement. Yeah, exactly. That was the police's statement.
I have my job at the news station is more technical. I have no like editorial say, but I have, ranted and encouraged my newsroom friends to don't use anything besides police sources if possible, right?
Or at least do a little bit more. Do a little bit more to avoid the way they read it as if it is in and of itself fundamental facts right then and there.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? They read it with
be careful about it. Like
they read it with a sense of immediate legitimacy.
Yeah.
Of like, this is actually what happened, not like this is what, and they'll be like, police say, and it's like, police say, but we have not independently corroborated.
Exactly.
That would be, something like that.
Because if you say police say, you have got to trust the police.
You got to trust the police. They never lie.
Lie to the news. Yeah.
They wouldn't lie. They never lie.
Yeah. So, it's gross, dude. And in crime news in general, I just don't think, I like good stories and I like news that's helpful for people. And crime news, for the most part, is none of that. No, if a crime happens to you, it's super tragic. And I think that there are stories there.
True.
But it's usually like the victims, the people, and the victims can be like relatives of the perpetrator.
When
like,
we're talking about like local news where the
effects,
story is just like literally just a crime and that's all that happened.
One thing I hate is that we do stories about the event. We do stories about this crime happened, but we very rarely interview people afterwards. Like, months
what
later,
happened
years
then?
Later. Yeah, exactly.
Was it resolved?
How is your life now? Like, how did that crime affect your life? Those are the stories I want to hear.
Did the police help you? That's why they don't go back.
Exactly.
That's why they don't go back, because you go back and they go, they didn't do shit.
Yeah.
They didn't find anybody. Nobody got arrested.
They didn't bring my shit back. Yeah, whatever.
They didn't even fucking call me. They won't answer my fucking voicemails.
Yeah.
That would happen way more often than people think.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Anyway, so
that's the biggest bummer is like, I won't, I'm never going to name drop, but like I have a police officer in my family who truly is like one of the good ones, and it is kind of it's kind of deflating sometimes knowing that he wants so many good things for the police, and the way that and how sort of powerless he can be in that's because of how deep seated that sort of protect your own good old boy system is. Absolutely. Especially in the South, it's just kind of a bummer knowing like, cause I'm not a fan of the police. I got a deep seated mistrust of the police. Right. So the fact that I can say like, there are good ones. There are obviously there's always going to be that thing, but the problem is that those good ones, the second they try and make meaningful change, they're fucking gone. And the fact that like you have someone who wants meaningful change, but the idea of trying to bring it forth means potentially losing the ability to feed your children. That's where it gets tricky, and you're like, well, why can't you just speak up? Because I don't know if I'll be able to feed my kids tomorrow if I do.
Totally.
I'm 20 years into a career. I can't just go work at Walmart tomorrow.
And I'm sure they feel like it balances the good things they do.
Sure. It's such a tough road.
Yeah.
So and I feel for those. I feel for the ones out there that want to make change.
That's what drives me crazy about like the whole like blue lives thing, because it's a job. It's not you.
It's a profession.
Yeah. But as a job, I understand that like because I do shit at my job all the time that I hate, and like I'm just talking about the news does all kinds
People
of stuff.
People be like, why don't you quit? Why don't you quit?
Yeah,
I got a fucking family.
Exactly. Like I've literally done this for 20 years and nothing else. It's hard to find other jobs, right? So
I'll be like, go work at Burger King. And you're like, cool, I'll take that giant pay cut and survive.
Yeah. So when I look at it like a job, I almost have more sympathy for them, because I know that there's good people who are put in a system that's bad.
Absolutely.
And the like procedures are bad.
Absolutely.
And like they don't have the authority. Like they can still like in a moment you hope that they will do the right thing.
Sure.
But like you said, if they go against their partner or go against like procedure, they're gone, and more than that, they're ostracized,
and they're going to get retaliated. In some way, shape, or form.
Totally,
they're going to fuck up their lives. They're going to make sure. They're going to.
Can you imagine how many like whistleblowers there would be if they had better protections? Probably.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. There needs to be whistleblower protection laws for sure.
Absolutely, especially for like law enforcement officers.
They're one of the biggest people fighting against them.
Yeah, totally.
There's all the police unions. They're like, no. Whistleblowers, get the fuck out of here. That shit's loud. You ever heard a whistle? Like, it hurt my ears. I don't know whistleblowers. Oh, man.
I think we solved a lot of problems this week.
Well, let's dip. We didn't really get too much into that Florida bill. I was going to pull up a little bit of the information on that horrible. Because this is really, I think, one of the biggest things to come out of this week. Let me actually because I want to find the bill. Okay, here it goes. Okay, Florida Senate Bill 254 would grant courts emergency custody of kids who receive gender-affirming care. The bill introduced Friday would also allow the courts to modify out-of-state custody agreements. The bill would grant officials authority under the law that protects kids from domestic violence.
Wow.
Yes, the state could take the state could take temporary custody of children if it it is necessary in an emergency to protect the child because the child or a sibling or the parent of the child is, quote, at risk of or is being subjected to the provision of sex reassignment prescriptions or procedures. The bill proposed defines sex reassignment prescriptions or procedures as hormone therapy, puberty blockers, and surgeries or procedures that, quote, affirm a person's perception of his or her sex if that perception is inconsistent with the person's sex at birth.
God. Yeah.
This is basically saying that in the state of Florida, they can make it legal for someone to take your children away from you if they are trans or you are trans, and either one of you are receiving gender affirming care. If you are in a co-parenting relationship, I know a family specifically right now that I'm thinking of where one of the two parties doesn't think it's a real thing, and say that person wanted to, what would be in this state felony kidnapping, take their child against the will of the other party and take them across state lines to Florida.
Yeah.
Florida would protect them.
Oh man.
Now, I don't know how intrastate extradition laws work.
Yeah.
Can you take amnesty in another state
I don't think it's
against a federal law?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Can
I think they could send marshals to go get the person
because that's a felony. That's
Yeah.
a federal trafficking. That's
Yeah.
federal. I don't think that Florida can just say, my local sheriff's going to tell you you can't.
I mean, they can try, but it's going to get ugly.
That's where there's God damn it.
But who's surprised? Because this is the state that brought you taking immigrant children and like driving them again. They didn't, climb on this bus
from another state.
Yeah, we're going to take you to another state and drop you
take
off.
you from another state,
Yeah.
through our state, and then to another one because we didn't have. They took them from Texas.
Yeah.
Because DeSantis didn't want to.
right.
DeSantis didn't want to move the people in Florida because they might vote. So he had to get the ones from Texas and send them up to Delaware.
Yeah. What? And we've talked about this a few times, but it drives me crazy how if you aren't like, if you're not like them, if you disagree with them, they completely stop seeing you as a person.
Absolutely.
Like they just see you're not even a person anymore. They can just take you and like you lose so many rights. It feels.
Yeah. I can't wrap my head around the ability to so quickly dehumanize someone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I thought something I meant to say earlier, because this comes back to the flock cameras and why I feel like it is scary. Because in Tulsa, just recently in the last few months, there was a citizens police class and there was a cop in that class. And they had different police officers every week, like talking about different areas. And one week there was an officer who was just ranting about stuff, and he said that the greatest threat to America was a liberal white person. And this is a Tulsa police officer that said that. It made the news. Like someone in the class recorded it, and it got aired. The Frontier tweeted it out.
Yeah, I need to find this.
I need to find this
because I need to text my cop friend and be like,
because
you need to talk to your homeboy.
That the greatest threat to democracy is a liberal white person. And then they have these technical, and then so you take that, like there are police officers who feel this way, and they have access to surveillance cameras.
Well, look, the FBI put out a report at one point pointing out the systematic infiltration of law enforcement by neo-Nazi organizations.
Yeah.
So there has been a literal
which is the greatest terroristic threat.
A concerted effort to infiltrate police forces by neo-Nazis. So saying that there are neo-Nazi cops all over this country that have become cops on purpose so that they can go out and beat up black people. We're not fucking kidding. It's in an FBI report. It's fucking real.
Yeah.
It's real, and they're out there, and they need to fucking they should not have a goddamn badge.
Yeah.
It's so goddamn scary. I'm very interested to find out who this fucking cop was.
And the last thing, I could
we'll find it off. Send it to me off.
Yeah, and what drives me crazy too is that so the surveillance system, right? Like you're thinking, okay, well it's monitoring the streets, so we could probably have less patrol officers out, right? Because there's a shortage right now. Like TPD is struggling because no young people want to be cops anymore. I wonder why.
No shit.
So they're struggling to find people, but yet they're getting this technology where it's like, why do we need so many then? If we're gonna have this technology, can we at least have fewer people in the streets? At least those cameras don't have guns on them. So we could if we're gonna have this, let's balance it out.
Yeah, use it. I mean, and it all goes back to funding too. You wouldn't have this this struggle to find young people who want to be cops if there were proper programs in place to make it to where cops' job wasn't mental health response and addiction treatment, and you know what I mean. If they weren't responding to every time every homeless person that's experiencing addiction and going through some sort of a mental breakdown or something like that, if there were other people that we called for that came in, were trained, and that's their job, You don't need, and that's no longer the job of the police. The police can do other things,
So much more, yeah.
and you don't need them for that, and therefore you need less patrolmen.
Yeah.
So, it all comes back to once you start allocating the funding properly to make sure that because this argument goes to and something that I've talked about with my our family friend is the liberals saying that we don't want the police to have to respond to those things isn't saying that we don't think that they can. We're literally saying that it shouldn't be their job.
Totally.
That's not, that it shouldn't be the cops' job to do that. Cops are supposed to show up when crimes happen, not when people are just having a hard time, or you know what I mean?
And they're getting like training in it, but like a
shouldn't be
weekend
their job.
every few months is not like
they
a
don't have enough
psychology
training
degree.
for the job they're already doing. They
Yeah.
can't become psychologists and therapists
Yeah.
and mental health workers all at the same time.
Cops-
And they shouldn't have
And they're
to.
really not known well for being like de-escalators.
Right. And this is sort of for their benefit as well. They
Yeah.
shouldn't have to do these
Yeah,
jobs.
totally.
There should be other people in place that when those things happen, your instinct isn't to call 911 or call the cops. It's, I know there's this program that I can call. I can call them and they'll come out and help.
Yeah.
That's what it should be.
I'll feel much safer around a chill cop than one who's like stressed out and
No
anxious all the
joke.
time. They have a hard job. I fully admit, let's take some pressure off of them.
Because they're constantly dealing with things that are out of their they don't know how to deal with people in mental health crises.
Yeah.
And when you are dealing with someone that's having a mental health crisis, that's incredibly stressful. It's scary. The stakes are high.
Yeah.
It's
It's like, hey, Michael, you work for a dispensary. Can you also learn how to revive someone when they have an overdose?
yeah, no. I mean, I probably could, but it'd be very stressful.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would make my job a lot. I would be a lot more on edge if I knew that I might have to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, there's solutions out there that don't involve just giving the police more tanks.
Yeah.
So we'll find them.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll get there. But Jesus God, I hope that bill in Florida gets shot the fuck down.
It's got to, right? It sounds so extreme. It sounds like one of those that they're just trying to rile people up, honestly.
10 years ago, I would have said there's no way this law ever
that's
passes.
true.
But now,
Yeah. And honestly, I feel like
I think I'd be surprised if it doesn't pass.
and another thing we haven't really brought up, I think they're bringing up all this crazy shit because of the Supreme Court. If it makes all the way to the Supreme Court right now,
They've got
they
it
got the
stacked.
best chance than ever.
That's why they're bringing all these bills now. Yeah, because
they
they
got to hurry
know.
up before another one dies and Biden gets a couple more in there.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
You are
So
absolutely
we're
right.
gonna see the craziest shit.
They're working in the 2-minute drill right now, to use a sports metaphor. They know there's 2 minutes left in the game, and you got to get downfield as quick as possible and get in that end zone before the clock runs out. I hate to use a football metaphor on a politics show. Oh boy. Should we levy it up and do some just talk,
Music?
Yeah, talk
I
about
was just
some
about
music.
to say,
or-
I need to let off the steam and talk
Let's
about
do it.
things that make me happy. But musically, I've only listened to since Friday De La Soul.
Yes, De La Soul's
Soul, if you're
catalog
unfamiliar,
is
they're
out there.
Innovative 90s hip hop band, produced mostly by Prince Paul, who was a very innovative producer, produced Beastie Boys, a lot of, he kind of innovated sampling and used sampling in all these new ways. And of course, that caused De La Soul legal problems, and their music was tied up for many years, and they've sorted it all out. And then, of course, on the eve of their music hitting streaming, one of their members passed away, True Eye. And anyway, so
Trugoy the Dove.
it's a very bittersweet time, but I love having the music accessible again. I have 3 Feet High and Rising on vinyl, but I can't listen to it in my car,
Sure.
And I have
Sure.
the MP3s. But anyway, it's just nice to have it on streaming, right? And and like to hear the albums I haven't heard. I haven't heard De La Soul's Dead in a long time. That's so good. That's probably my favorite. If I had to pick one of them, I would say De La Soul's Dead, because for me, it's like so. Just like the pop culture references, it's so fun. It's like a musical, like a lot of Prince Paul stuff feels like you're watching
theatrical.
a hip hop musical. Yes, the skits have like a purpose. They tell a story, like a thread, So man,
I always loved De La Soul because they were one of the more they were smart.
Yeah. And like they rap about all kinds of, like they got a basketball, like they mostly rap about sexual stuff, not mostly, but like they got cute little nicknames for stuff. They had their whole like vocabulary and language, which is
that's
so
what I
cool.
mean by it's smart. Yeah, it's clever. It's very They use words very well.
Yeah,
I mean,
very
obviously
playful.
a lot of hip hop artists do,
Yeah.
but yeah, like you said, they're very playful with language and the way they use it.
And it's just such a great balance with the production, with the music.
Yeah.
It's because it's very much like a pop art, just like I love like girl talk. Do you ever listen to like
I
mashup?
love girl talk.
Because that's what it's like in my head all the
Yeah.
time, right? Like I'll go from one song to another song in my head, and it's just like sometimes like both at once. She'll like mash up and play two songs. I'm like listening to De La Soul, listening to
Girl Talk's super fun.
Oh my god, yeah,
Yeah, Girl Talk's super fun.
I love that stuff.
That's one of the things that I'll like put on like if I'm having a party or something.
Yeah.
Because you put all three of his albums or 3 or 4 of his albums on a loop.
Yeah.
And just let it play in the background.
It's so fun.
It's
love
the best.
Yeah,
you have your own DJ.
And sometimes like it's like a trivia. It's like, oh, what is that little bit from?
Oh yeah. What's the under a song? And you're like,
Yeah.
you're like, is that Creedence Clearwater Revival? It sure the fuck is.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, that's so good. I love that. My pick this week is going to be, as we're recording this, not as you're listening to this, but as we're recording this tonight, I'm going to the world famous Kintz Ballroom to see a little band from Toronto called Pup.
Oh, nice.
Pup, the band, they're touring right now with a band called Joyce Minor. That's also really cool. I don't know their catalog as well, but Pup, the band, is one that I found when their first album came out, and I don't really remember how they came across me, but they are a band that kind of took they sort of took a revitalization, a new angle on pop punk. It's pop punk, but it's very unique. It's pop punk, but it's definitely, they are their own thing. They're a one of one kind of band.
Yeah.
Like I would struggle to find another band that I could say like Pup sounds just like this band.
Yeah.
Like they might sound similar to several bands, but they're very, very, very unique.
I love bands like that.
Their lyricist is amazing. If I had to pick one of their albums to tell you to go listen to, it would be Morbid Stuff.
Okay.
Morbid Stuff by Pup. It's on all the streaming stuff. They're so fucking good. They're like I was telling you off mic, their choruses are built around gang vocals. Everything is built to be a sing-along. It's very anthemic. It talks a lot about inner struggles with self-confidence and things that are just very relatable on a human level.
Cool.
And the way they sing about them. He's got a song. They have a song called "Sleep in the Heat" that I cannot sing the end of without crying. Literally, it's about his dog.
Aww.
Yeah, and it's a pop punk song. Like it's so wild. Like all those things together. Yeah, but so I'm super excited about that show, and in tribute to that being tonight, I would say go listen to "Morbid Stuff" by Pup, or any of Pup's albums, but that one specifically.
And what year is that album from? Do you know?
Very recently. That one's from. Let me look it up. But I know their very first album came out in 2014. So they're just over. They're just over 10 years old as a band.
Nice. Yeah.
Let me see when Morbid Stuff came out.
2014 does not feel like 10 years ago.
2019.
Jesus.
So Morbid Stuff was only a couple years ago.
Oh, nice.
And their newest album was called The Unraveling of Pup the Band. And it's very fun.
Nice.
And yeah. Good stuff. Thank you, TJ. Thank you guys for listening. We might start having guests soon. Have some people on that are either involved with things that or can bring a specific angle to specific topics that maybe to white guys
Totally.
might not have. We obviously try and keep our perspectives as open as humanly possible, but obviously there are going to be other people that'll be able to bring things that we can't. So we'll start doing that probably in a couple of weeks. Next week with scheduling, we might not be here, so if there's a week off, don't be surprised that it is. We will try and record an episode next week if we're able to, but we might not. It's spring break. We gotta go. We gotta go get some beads. we gotta go to Fort Lauderdale and binge drink. Do they still do that?
I don't know. Do they?
I don't know. I remember. I think they still do, but I don't know if it's on the same level. But
my spring break was watching
MTV. I was just gonna say. Remember what a big
Pauly
production,
Shore, baby.
Man, I used to fantasize about like going to spring break. Like, oh man, it's so exotic. Just being in Tulsa, right? Spring break. You just look at that and say, oh, it's just the ocean. It's just the ocean and fucking supermodels and Limp Bizkit.
Party always Limp Bizkit.
Oh man. So yeah, happy spring break, everybody. And if we don't see you next week, we'll see you in 2 weeks. Maximum News is a production of OLA Ministries. All original music written, performed, and recorded by Kintz.